Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where I have digital discussions, the worlds of TV, film, sports, everything really depending on the guys who talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest was in the Mighty Ducks films, and he will recently be returning to the Quack Attack in the end of April for Mighty Ducks Game Changers on Disney+. He played Kenny Wu. Justin Wong is with us. Justin, welcome to Popternative, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for having me.
I mean, this is pretty crazy because, you know, you did these movies a long time ago and boom, there it is. It's just a resurgence. What's that been like for you, kind of seeing it, talking to family and friends? Like it's all coming, it's all resurfacing again, man.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. It's like almost like there's like a bit of a calm before the storm that's currently happening. Like Jordan Kerner, the executive producer of the original movies and also of the series, he invited us all for the 25th anniversary of the first movie to his house one year. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll fly down and hang out with everybody, see some old friends and stuff like that. And so that started happening. That's when there was like a bit of talk about, hey, Disney might want to do a series or something. We don't know what's going on, but there's some talk. And then maybe a year or two later, all of a sudden, we're all in Anaheim for their 25th anniversary.
I know.
And then, it just like, and then all of a sudden I get a call and they're like, yeah, like I was actually walking on a beach on Vancouver Island and I get this call. I'm like, that's a US call. I kind of knew it was coming.
You kind of had an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if I should tell you why I kind of knew, but like I saw this call and I'm like, I should answer this. And then next thing I know, it's the casting directors asking me if I want to be on board. And of course my short answer was yes.
And, you know, pictures came out and everyone lost their minds, man.
Yeah, it seems like that because I remember also getting an email from ABC saying, yeah, we're putting this out today, so just start doing your Instagram stuff. And ever since then, I've been doing, like every Friday I've been posting something on Instagram so that just to help promote the new show and stuff like that. And like I went from like 400 Instagram followers, and now I'm up to like short of 1,000 all of a sudden.
And it's gonna get up. Well, I need to ask this, like getting away from Mighty Ducks Game Changers for a little bit, because you know some of like the Ducks that show up in Game Changers, some of them stayed in acting and entertainment industry, and a lot of you have not. You have not. You don't act anymore. No. Can you tell our viewers like what you've been up to?
Well, I'm an audio engineer now.
Yeah.
So I mostly do concerts. I tried doing the studio stuff. So like in the early 2000s, I was like recording a lot of jazz, blues, folk, and like world music and stuff like that. Started my own studio in about 2008 with my partner, recording out of a garage that was like retrofitted to be kind of a studio. Ended up in another kind of leasing situation with a proper studio for a while. So recorded a lot of local bands that have no money. Yeah. So because the bands have no money, it made no money for me. But on the side, I did all the concert stuff that actually paid. And so I do audio for concerts that in rooms that have capacities up to maybe 1,300.
Yeah.
One other venue that has capacity is 500. So I get to see a lot of cool up and coming bands and a lot of bands that are just like on that brink of like blowing up. Like 21 Pilots showed up at our venue. Yeah. And during that tour, they went from a 1,300 cap venue to a 20,000 seat arena.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, I can relate to the lifestyle because I'm turning 30 very soon. But when I was younger, like 18, 19, I was a concert promoter in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So the sound engineers, the sound techs, you guys were the make it or break it, man. Like if you were in a good mood, everything was good. If you were in a bad mood, so the bands would come in. If they weren't nice to the sound, like be nice to the sound guy.
Yeah, right.
So I know all about that, which is awesome. Did you so But you go back, I know talking to Margarita and Matt, this whole thing with the quarantine, with COVID was a bit crazy. You guys had the quarantine in a hotel and everything. Did you miss it a little bit though, Justin, the acting stuff a little bit when you kind of went back on the ice with the Ducks?
I didn't miss it at all. Well, actually, okay, so basically when in my early 20s, when I was recording bands and making no money, like I decided to get an agent, and for about maybe 2 or 3 years I actually kind of got back into it, and so I did a few commercials. I don't know if you've looked it up, but I actually did a commercial with the Sedin twins in Vancouver. And like I eventually, like there was the long version and I actually got cut out of the shorter version, but I got to do that, and then that really didn't go anywhere. Like my heart still wasn't in it. And that's the reason why I left in the first place. So then again, I was just like, yeah, like maybe this is not for me. But coming back to set for Game Changers, it was kind of I don't know, it kind of put the bug back into me a little bit. And like I did like go call my original agent, the agency that got me the parts in D2 and then consequently in D3. And she also asked after we filmed the episode, so do you have the bug again? And I'm like, I don't know. I have to watch the episode first and see if I don't like cringe every single time I see myself on the screen. And then I'll ask her, what do you think? What, like with my performance on there, what do you think? Should I get back into this? So I'm kind of waiting for the episode to see how I feel and whether or not I want to get back into it.
And it's interesting too because Ken Wu comes in, he's not an original Duck, comes in D2, but I think the fan base just loved everything about Ken Wu, and they loved the figure skating aspect of everything, and they just like Ken Wu is a fan favorite. Like I'm just saying, for someone who watched the movie, it's the fan favorite. It's interesting though, right? Like you're not an original Duck, and you come in the second movie where there's a Disney movie, then they're naming a pro team after the Mighty Ducks. You know what I mean? You're coming in as like one of the new kids on the block, so to speak, and people loved your character. It was like you were an original Duck. That must have been pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And one thing I realized about Ken Wu is like he's not an outspoken character. He doesn't have a lot of lines, but he has a lot of hockey. Like he does some important things hockey wise, like that first goal in the gold medal game in the junior Goodwill games against Iceland. Like I think I posted like that
2 minutes, well worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, that was like the best.
And if you think about real hockey, that is this type of goal with the fight afterward that could really turn the tide in a hockey game.
Absolutely.
They're getting beaten down. All of a sudden there's a fight. All of a sudden the Bash brothers come out and they get the crowd going.
That whole sequence is the best. That's one of the best sequences in the whole Mighty Ducks, man.
So like Ken Wu, he's instrumental in that way. He's not like the, Averman's got like a lot of cool jokes. He's really funny, that sort of thing. Same as Goldberg and everybody. Fulton's got a slap shot. Like these are like characters that have like some character. Kenny Wu is more hockey, I would say.
And I do have to say, because you guys show up and you do your job, you act and everything. It's a script, but I will say, I love all three Mighty Ducks, and I do enjoy D3 because I really enjoyed it because I like the freshman hockey. I like that whole school Eden Hall Warriors. That's a great storyline. I loved it, right? But Ken Wu for the third is just kind of like it's just there for the ride. Like we don't see any of like the cool moves or anything.
Yeah, like because the coach is trying to get rid of all like the hokey stuff, right? There's no more flying V. There's no more fancy stuff. It's like it's real hockey.
So what are you doing
defense. There? Yeah, right. So like, if Ken Wu can't do his triple axel, there's not much he can do. So like, I think even Steve Brill had a bit of trouble figuring out what Ken Wu could do, and I think he did right in that part where I'm with Russ Tyler on the bench, try to like trying to
hey, number 5, you don't play very well.
and that actually came from like for a while, like every single time we'd be joking around on set, my usual punchline back to Steve or to whoever else would usually be bite me. And I think that's where Steve got the idea and kind of wrote it in for me.
So I need to ask, because it always drives me nuts, because I'm a big hockey's my life, right? Like I work at a rink all my life. I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, big hockey guy, right? So I need to know this. The whole game, like the first game where you guys blow like the 8-0 lead, that always drives me nuts, because like it's just like, why couldn't it be like 5-0? It had to be 8-0 lead, and it's an 8-8 tie. It always drew me nuts. Was there anyone, because like a lot of like, you know, there were hockey players like the stunt doubles and everything that played hockey, right? Were there any talks, like the team that played the Bears, right? Some of them were actual hockey players. Did you guys ever talk about, wow, this is like a very like, this is a very like, this would probably not happen the way you guys are killing us? Like, did anything ever talk about that? Because you couldn't play defense, that was the point. But like, that always irritated me, that it was always like just like 8 goals and then 8-8.
Well, I'm wondering, has that ever happened in the NHL? if you think about it, it's maybe not that bad, but so being from Ontario, you're from Ottawa. Are you a Sens fan or are you a Leafs fan?
Sens fan.
Okay, well then you probably like to think about the time where the Bruins came back in the third period and knocked the Leafs out of the playoffs, like something like 5 years ago.
Of course, but look at the goals. That wasn't 8 goals. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's true. But
well, no, that could happen. There was just a momentum. Yeah. I mean, Charlie and the Ducks are really like they have a lot of confidence, right? And they come in for the third period, and the other team was probably yelling. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it, because I've interviewed Robert Lieberman's been on the show before, and I asked him about that, and he was just like, well, you know, there's gotta be that moment where they really mess up so that they can redeem themselves.
Yeah. I mean, like, it gives the coach a bit of firing power and say, look, you got to play defense. Like, see what happens if you don't play defense.
So I need to know this then.
Interesting story that.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's like a really interesting story that Steve put into the third movie, where it's like it's more about real hockey now.
Mm-hmm. Not the flat. Yeah, there's a lot of good messages in D3. D3 is a good one, I'm telling you. It's a good one for sure. I need to know, because now, you know, talking to you, like you are. It sounds like you're a hockey fan. It sounds like you're a Canucks fan, correct? What was your familiarity with hockey before getting casted for Mighty Ducks?
I was 12 when I played Kenwu in D2. Yeah. And I had been playing hockey since I was about 10. So I've been playing for about 2 years since then. And then, of course, a fan of the Canucks probably 3 or 4 years before that. So I grew up with like the 90s era with like Trevor Linden, Kurt McLean, and all that. Yeah, of course. And 16 is actually... Trevor Linden is the reason why Kenwu is number 16.
That's amazing. Vancouver Canuck fans are going to love that, because they're going to love that. Pretty cool, though. New flock of Ducks come in for Mighty Ducks Game Changers. You guys get to show up for an episode, but that's a really cool thing. You know, you have the nostalgia with kind of the new Ducks, the new flock that comes in. I just want to know, what was it like kind of being on set, seeing kind of the new Ducks, getting to talk to them? What was that like for you, man?
It was amazing. Like, these new kids are amazing. I would probably say that they're way better actors than I ever was. And their attitudes are great. They're like, the second we got on set, they all just like swarmed towards us, like, oh my God, it's you guys. And like, I talked to Evan, Brady, for quite a bit. I talked to Max, who plays Nick, quite a bit. I actually talked to Kiefer, who plays Logan, because he's actually from the Vancouver area as well. And I kind of teased him, saying that Steve forced him to wear a Maple Leafs jersey while he's a Vancouver fan. But yeah, they're a great bunch of kids. They're very talented. They work hard. Like, doing a series is hard work. It's like you do an episode in 10 days, and you got a lot to do, and you got to do it fast. And they're a lot of fun. They enjoyed having us, and we enjoyed meeting them. And they are doing such a great job that I'm so happy that it's going so well, because the series is so great so far.
And you know what, you know, from talking to you right now, you're like a humble guy, you're a modest guy, but like you have to say, like I mentioned before, I mean, you know, the Mighty Ducks, like you are part of like hockey royalty. Like they named a pro team after the movies that you were in. I mean, that's gotta feel kind of really cool. It has to.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't realize how much of an impact Mighty Ducks has had on people. Uh, like after I did D2, I went back to high school, and the attention kind of got to me.
Yeah.
In Vancouver, basically after grade 7, you're most likely going to move into like a new school, either middle school or junior high.
Yep.
So going to a new school, I've got my handful of friends that I had from elementary, but then all of a sudden I've got like kids, like people left, right, and center, pulling on my shirt, tapping on my shoulder, like, "Hey, you're that guy, you're that guy, you're that
Oh,
guy."
wow,
And I
yeah.
actually, and it's for a 13, 14-year-old kid, it's kind of hard to handle. You don't know what to do with it, other than you just don't want it to happen anymore.
Yep.
And so then after leaving acting, like I think I did a few more things until I was like, 14, I was in D3. And then after that, I just kind of wasn't in it anymore. And then I was very happy from the age of like 16, 17 until last year,
Yeah.
not having any sort of like popular,
Just kind of
status
doing your own
whatsoever.
thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's almost like that time doing during D2 and D3. That's like a different person, a different life all entirely. And I totally forgot what your question was, but now,
Oh, you answered
coming
it for
back
sure.
to-
You answered it.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, but
back then it was a lot for sure.
yeah, and then I would say like even there's probably like a good bunch of people that I've worked with over the last 10 years that had no idea that I'm Ken Wu until I started doing these Instagram posts.
Yeah.
it's
But
pretty
it's like
interesting.
it's not a normal, like, let's be honest, right? We're not going to get like super kind of dark about it, right? But like that life you're talking about when you were like 13, 14, that's not a normal life.
No, it's definitely hard to get used to, and I imagine it's the reason for a lot of issues for child actors and stuff like that. Some people go through it well. Some people do. I think it's a minority of people that don't go through
It's
it well.
split, I feel like it's split down the middle where there's some, I know like there's a lot of ducks like Matt that are like they're still in the entertainment, like they do like writing and everything, but there's a lot that like aren't in it at all. Like you're not the only one. Like there's quite a bit that like we don't see. Like Vincent LaRusso, who played Adam Banks, he's like he does not act anymore.
Yeah, he's very happy doing what he does for a living, and like other than being invited back for this, I'm pretty sure he's happy to not be in the limelight as well.
Yeah, absolutely, no, for sure. It's gonna happen. What are you hoping people get out of when they watch your episode of Mighty Ducks Game Changers? Like you're hoping it's gonna be a combination of just like because like the show was amazing. I love the show. I just can't wait for that episode to come out with you guys. But like, what are you hoping they get out of it when they watch it, man?
Well, mostly the nostalgia,
Yeah.
and obviously just kind of seeing what we look like now, kind of hearing what the characters are doing now. I think Steve in the Entertainment Weekly article gave away quite a bit of what our characters are doing in our lives, and even the characters that didn't even make the episode. He's already got these ideas in his head, and I actually looked at there's actually some similarities between what he has in his head and what some of these characters, what the actors do in their real lives. Like they're not fully connected, but there's some similarities. But when it comes to getting it out of the episode, I think it's just like, I just hope the fans are happy to see us. And then I think, I don't want to give too much away, but I think it is a very pivotal episode in the season.
Amazing. Justin, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This was awesome. Seriously, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. I didn't even actually know that you're in Canada.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny because I do the show, and yeah, I'm Canadian, but Popternative is a global show. We have viewers and listeners from all over the place. So a lot of people actually don't realize that I'm Canadian until afterwards where I say it. So it's kind of it's funny. Like it's funny because there are Canadian publications that focus just on Canada, right? And the last Canadian Central questions. But no, I live in Canada, but I'm a global media outlet. You know what I mean? So, the Instagram account that you where can they follow you on that Instagram account? What's the handle?
Justin Grown in BC.
Amazing. And I do have to say though, they got you wearing the wrong the wrong jersey in the like you're wearing the original Mighty Ducks jersey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kenwu has never worn the District 5 jersey. We did some promo shots in D2 where I was wearing it. I don't even know what number I had, but it wasn't the right number that Kenwu actually ended up using.
Yeah.
But I did get given one of those jerseys during the Anaheim Silver Week, so I do own one now. But yeah, like it's the original Anaheim Mighty Ducks jersey that Kenwu wore first. Oh, well, before that was the USA jersey.
But after that, like the white Mighty Ducks like jersey that you wear in like when you come back out of the locker room for D2, that jersey, that's the best sports jersey of all. That's like the best sports jersey. That logo is like one of the best. I love it. It's just like, it's so good, man. Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
And no problem.
Yeah, well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Justin Wong and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.